The operating room was filled with cold white light. Machines hummed steadily. The rhythmic beeping of the monitor echoed in the silence, each sound marking the fragile line between life and death. Dr. Anna Lynn stood at the center, her hands steady, her eyes focused. Every movement she made was precise, practiced, controlled. "Scalpel," she said. The nurse placed it into her hand without hesitation. Beside her, Eric Dew watched closely. His posture was attentive, but his fingers twitched slightly, betraying a nervous energy he tried to hide. "Stay focused, Eric," Anna said, her voice calm but firm. "Yes, Dr. Lynn," he replied quickly. On the table lay a small child, barely breathing under anesthesia. The rise and fall of the chest was faint, almost fragile. "Vitals stable," the anesthesiologist confirmed. Anna nodded once. "We proceed." Time moved differently inside the operating room. Every second stretched. Every action mattered. Clamp. Here. Suction. Done. Eric followed her instructions, but there was always a slight delay. Not enough to alarm anyone. Not enough to stop the surgery. But enough. Then suddenly, the monitor changed. The steady rhythm broke. Beep, beep, beep. Pressure dropping, the anesthesiologist said, tension rising instantly. Anna's eyes sharpened. "What happened?" I don't know," Eric stammered. "Check the line. Now." Eric moved, but his hands hesitated for just a moment. "Too long." "Eric." Anna's voice cut through the room. He flinched and rushed forward. Heart rate falling. Anna's tone shifted, faster now, sharper. "Administer vasopressors. Prepare for emergency correction." The room filled with urgency. "Why is this line not secured?" she demanded. Eric swallowed. I thought. This is not the time to think. Fix it." Her voice rose, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Control was slipping, and she was trying to hold it together. The monitor screamed. A long, continuous sound. Beep. Everything stopped. For a split second, no one moved. Then Anna reacted instantly. "Start CPR." Hands moved. Compressions began. 1, 2, 3. Time dragged. Sweat formed under masks. Breathing became heavier. But the line didn't move. It stayed flat. Unforgiving. After what felt like forever, Dr. David Chen stepped forward quietly. "Anna." She didn't stop. "Continue." "Anna." His voice was firmer now. Slowly, her hands stopped. Silence filled the room. Time of death. 14:32. The words settled like something final. Anna's hands dropped to her sides. She stared at the monitor, as if willing it to change. But it didn't. Behind her, Eric stood frozen. For a brief moment, his hand moved toward his chest, adjusting something hidden beneath his coat. A phone. Recording. By evening, the video was everywhere. A short clip. Edited. Her voice loud, sharp, stripped of context. "This is not the time to think. Fix it." That was all the world saw. That was all they needed. The comments came fast. "Heartless doctor. She's yelling while a child dies. This is murder." The internet didn't wait for truth. It decided. Anna sat alone in her apartment, her phone lighting up endlessly in her hand. Messages. Calls. Notifications. She didn't answer any. Her eyes stayed on the screen, replaying the same clip again and again. "It's not like that," she whispered. The door opened. Michael Lynn walked in, still in his work clothes. He looked tired, but his expression hardened when he saw her. "I saw the video," he said. Anna looked up slowly. "It's not the full story." Michael sighed. "That doesn't matter right now." The words landed heavier than any accusation. "What do you mean it doesn't matter?" she asked quietly. "What matters is how this affects the family." Anna stared at him. "The family," she repeated. Before he could respond, another voice joined. "Anna." Their mother, Grace Lynn, stepped in. Her face was tense, filled with worry, but not the kind Anna needed. "You need to apologize," Grace said immediately. Anna blinked. "For what?" For how you acted in that video. People are talking. Our relatives have seen it. A hollow laugh escaped Anna's lips. You think this is about how I looked? Grace frowned. Don't speak like that. You're a doctor. You should know better. I did everything I could. Anna's voice rose, emotion breaking through. The child. Enough, Michael interrupted sharply. Silence fell. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Say nothing. Don't argue online. We'll handle this legally. Anna looked at him, searching his face. Handle it, she asked. Yes. Quietly. Something inside her shifted. Not loudly. Not violently. Just. Breaking. The next day, the hospital felt different. Whispers followed her everywhere. People avoided her eyes. Or stared too long. That's her. The one from the video. Anna walked straight ahead, her posture unchanged. But her hands trembled slightly. At the end of the hallway, Eric stood with other interns. Someone showed him the video. He watched it calmly. Crazy, one of them said. She lost it. Eric shrugged. Pressure does that to people. Anna saw him. He saw her. For a moment. Nothing was said. That night, the rain fell heavily. Anna walked alone down the street, soaked, her steps slow and unsteady. Her phone slipped from her hand, hitting the ground. The cracked screen still played the same clip. Her voice echoed again. Cold. Unforgiving. She stopped walking. The rain grew louder. The world blurred. It wasn't like that, she whispered. Darkness. Then. A sound. Beep. 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 Anna's eyes snapped open. Bright surgical lights blinded her for a moment. Dr. Lin? Are you ready to begin? Her breath caught. She looked around. The same room. The same people. The same moment. Her fingers tightened slowly. Yes, she said. But her eyes were no longer the same. The sound of the monitor filled the room. Beep. 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 Steady. Predictable. Alive. Dr. Anna Lin stood frozen for a brief moment, her fingers hovering just above the surgical table. The bright light above her felt harsher than before, almost blinding. But it wasn't the light. It was memory. The same room. The same people. The same moment she had already lived once, right before everything fell apart. Dr. Lin? The nurse's voice came again, careful, unsure. Are you ready? Anna blinked slowly. Her chest rose with a controlled breath. Yes, she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. The surgery began exactly the same. Scalpel. The instrument was placed into her hand. She didn't look at it. She was looking at him. Eric Jew stood beside her, posture straight, expression attentive. To anyone else, he looked like a normal intern, eager, focused. But now, Anna was seeing something different. Not nervousness. Not pressure. Something sharper. Something hidden. Stay focused, Eric, she said. He nodded quickly. Yes, Dr. Lin. His voice was the same as before. Every word. Every tone. As if nothing had changed. But everything had. Time moved forward. Clamp. Suction. Adjust the light. Anna worked with even greater precision than before. Her hands didn't hesitate. Her decisions came faster, cleaner. It was as if she was following a script. Because she was. And then. She saw it. A small movement. Eric's hand brushing against his chest. Adjusting something under his coat. Anna's eyes sharpened. She didn't react. Didn't speak. But inside. Something clicked into place. He was recording. The realization didn't shock her. It settled quietly, like something she had always known but only now understood. Her grip tightened slightly around the instrument. But her voice remained steady. Focus on the patient, she said. Eric stiffened for just a second. I am. Anna didn't respond. She just watched him. The surgery continued. Everything moved toward the same inevitable point. The same mistake. The same collapse. But this time, Anna wasn't just reacting. She was observing every delay, every hesitation, every small, almost invisible choice Eric made. She stored it all. When the surgery ended for the day's preparation phase, Anna removed her gloves slowly. Her expression didn't change, but her eyes were no longer uncertain. They were calculating. Later, she walked through the hospital corridor, her pace slower than usual. People greeted her. She nodded. Everything felt normal. Too normal. Because she knew what was coming. The video. The accusations. The collapse of everything she had built. She stopped walking. Turned. And headed somewhere else. Inside a small equipment room, she closed the door behind her. The quiet inside was heavy. Undisturbed. Anna opened a cabinet. Inside were unused recording devices. Monitoring tools. Backup equipment. Her fingers moved quickly now. Taking one. Then another. Checking them. Testing angles. Battery. Storage. Her reflection appeared faintly on the metal surface. She looked at herself. Really looked. The woman staring back at her was not the same one who had stood helpless in the rain. Not this time, she murmured. That evening, she returned home. The door opened. The same space welcomed her. The same quiet. Anna. Michael's voice came from the living room. He stood there, loosening his tie. You're home. Anna looked at him. This moment. She remembered it. Every word he was about to say. You have a big surgery tomorrow, he continued. Be careful. Your reputation is important. Anna held his gaze. Michael, she said softly. He paused. What? If something goes wrong, what matters more? He frowned. What do you mean? The patient, she said. Or the family's reputation? Michael exhaled, slightly annoyed. Don't ask pointless questions. Of course both matter. But you need to stay rational. Don't act emotionally. Think about the consequences. The same answer. Exactly the same. Anna nodded once. I understand. But there was no warmth in her voice. In the kitchen, Grace Lynn stood preparing tea. She glanced at Anna briefly. You look tired, she said. Anna stepped closer. Mom, she said quietly. Grace hummed in response. If people say something bad about me, would you believe it? Grace paused. Then frowned slightly. Why would people say things without reason? She replied. If something happens, you should reflect first. Anna didn't speak for a moment. Then she nodded. I see. That night, her room was dimly lit. On the desk, several small cameras. Recording devices. Carefully arranged. Anna sat in front of them. Silent. Her mind replayed everything. Not the accusations. Not the pain. But the details. Eric's hesitation. His timing. The way he watched instead of acted. Her fingers slowly picked up one device. Then another. She stood. The hospital was quiet in the early morning. Empty corridors. Dim lights. Anna walked into the operating room alone. The space felt different when it was empty. Still. Honest. She moved around the room with purpose. Placing cameras in precise positions. Hidden. But perfect. One above the surgical table. One near the monitors. One angled toward the staff. Every angle covered. Nothing left unseen. She stepped back. Looking at the room. This time. There would be no missing truth. No twisted narrative. The door opened. Eric walked in. He stopped slightly when he saw her. Oh, Dr. Lynn. You're early. Anna turned to him. Her expression unreadable. Eric. He straightened. Yes. She walked closer. Not fast. Not slow. Just enough to make him aware. Be careful today. His brows furrowed. What do you mean? Anna held his gaze for a moment. Long enough. Then she turned away. Picking up her gloves. It's an important surgery, she said calmly. Eric watched her. Something about her was different. And for the first time, he felt it. A quiet unease. Anna slipped on her gloves. Her movements smooth. Certain. This time. She wasn't walking into the unknown. She was walking into a battle. She had already lost once. And had no intention of losing again. The clock on the wall showed 7:58 a.m. Dr. Anna Lynn stood at the sink, letting the water run over her hands longer than necessary. The cold sensation grounded her, but it didn't slow her thoughts. She had already lived this morning once. Every second of it. Behind her, the door opened. "Good morning, Dr. Lynn." Eric Jew's voice sounded normal. Polite. Controlled. Anna turned off the water and dried her hands slowly before facing him. "Good morning," she replied. Their eyes met briefly. Something flickered between them, something neither of them named. Inside the operating room, everything was in place. The child lay on the table, small and fragile, surrounded by machines that measured life in numbers and sounds. Beep. 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 Vitals stable, the anesthesiologist confirmed. Anna nodded. "We begin." Scalpel. The surgery started. Again. This time, Anna's movements were faster. Not rushed. Just, certain. Every step came before it was needed. Every instruction landed exactly where it should. Clamp. Here. Suction. Done. No hesitation. No wasted motion. But while her hands worked, her eyes watched. Eric stood beside her, following her lead. But Anna noticed everything now. The slight delay before he responded. The way his fingers stiffened when pressure rose. The way his gaze drifted not always toward the patient, but toward something else. And then, it happened. The monitor changed. Beep, beep, beep. Pressure dropping, the anesthesiologist said, tension rising instantly. The moment had arrived. Exactly as before. Anna reacted immediately. "Check the line." Her voice was firm, controlled. Eric stepped forward. Anne hesitated. Just for a fraction of a second. But this time, Anna saw it clearly. His hand hovered. Not confused. Not panicked. Waiting. "Eric." Her voice cut through the air. He flinched and moved quickly. "I'm checking." But the delay had already cost them. Heart rate falling. "Administer vasopressors," Anna said sharply. The room filled with urgency. Movements sped up. Voices overlapped. Anna worked faster than before. Correcting. Adjusting. Trying to regain control. But something was wrong. Still wrong. Her eyes flicked to the line. Then to Eric. And she saw it. The connection wasn't just loose. It had been mishandled. Not carelessly. Wrong. "Who secured this line?" Anna demanded. Eric froze. I thought. This is not the time to think." Her voice was sharp. But her eyes were cold. The monitor screamed. Beep. Flatline. The sound cut through everything. For a brief moment, the room stood still. Anna didn't move immediately. She stared at the screen. Even knowing. Even preparing. She couldn't change this outcome. "Start CPR," she said finally. Compressions began. 1, 2, 3. Time dragged again. Long, heavy. Unforgiving. Anna worked without stopping. Focused. Relentless. But the line didn't move. It stayed flat. After several minutes, Dr. David Chen stepped forward. "Anna." She didn't respond. "Anna." Her hands slowed. Then stopped. "Time of death. 14:32. The same words. The same ending. But Anna didn't look shocked this time. She looked at Eric. He stood there, breathing unevenly. Face pale. But his hand moved. Near his chest. Adjusting something. Recording. Anna watched him. Silently. Then she noticed something new. His lips pressed together slightly. Not grief. Not guilt. Relief. The realization settled heavily inside her. It wasn't an accident. Later, the hospital hallway buzzed with quiet conversations. Doctors and nurses moved around her as if nothing had happened. As if life simply continued. At the far end of the corridor, Eric stood talking to another intern. It just went wrong so fast, he was saying. No one could have predicted it. Anna walked toward him. Slowly. He noticed her. His voice stopped. The other intern quickly excused himself and left. Now it was just the two of them. Dr. Lin, Eric said, trying to sound normal. Anna stopped in front of him. Close enough. You were recording. The words were quiet, but precise. Eric's expression flickered. Just for a moment. Then he forced a small laugh. Recording? No, don't lie. Her voice didn't rise. But it didn't leave room for denial. Silence. Eric shifted slightly. It's normal to record sometimes. For learning. For learning. Anna repeated. He nodded quickly. Yes. Anna stepped closer. So you knew something would happen? His breath caught. Of course not. Then why were you ready? No answer. The silence stretched. Uncomfortable. Heavy. Eric looked away first. I think you're overthinking this, he said. Anna watched him for a long moment. Then she smiled. Cold. I hope so, she said. She turned and walked away. Eric remained where he was. Frozen. For the first time. Something felt wrong to him. That night, Anna sat in her room. The lights were off. Only the glow of the screen illuminated her face. Multiple videos played in front of her. Different angles. Different moments. Nothing missing. Nothing edited. She paused one frame. Eric's hesitation. Clear. Undeniable. Her reflection stared back at her from the dark screen. Calm. Focused. Unshaken. I saw everything, she said softly. Her finger hovered over the screen. Now it's my turn. Outside, the city continued as usual. Unaware. But something had already begun to shift. And this time, the story would not be taken from her. The video spread faster than before. Within hours, it was everywhere. Phones lit up across the city. Screens filled with the same short clip. The same moment. The same voice. This is not the time to think. Fix it. No context. No explanation. Just accusation. Anna sat quietly at her desk, her phone vibrating non-stop beside her. Notifications stacked over each other, messages flooding in faster than she could read. She didn't touch it. Instead, her eyes stayed on her laptop screen. A different video was paused there. Clear. Wide. Unedited. She pressed play. The operating room appeared, steady and complete. The sounds were raw, unfiltered. Every instruction, every movement, every second intact. Her voice firm, controlled. Not cruel. Not careless. Then Eric. His hesitation. His delay. His silence at the exact moment action was needed. Anna paused the video again. Her reflection flickered faintly on the darkened screen. This is the truth, she said softly. In the hospital, the atmosphere had already shifted. Whispers followed her again. Just like before. Only this time, Anna didn't feel lost in them. She walked into a conference room filled with senior staff. The tension inside was thick, heavy with urgency and fear. We need to respond immediately, one administrator said. The public reaction is worse this time. It's damaging the hospital's reputation, another added. We should suspend Dr. Lin temporarily and issue a statement. Anna stood near the door, listening. The same discussion. The same solution. Dr. Lin, one of them said, noticing her. Do you have anything to say? All eyes turned toward her. Waiting. Expecting apology. Silence. Submission. Anna stepped forward. Yes, she said calmly. She placed her phone on the table. Tapped the screen. The video began to play. At first, no one reacted. They assumed it was the same clip. But within seconds, they realized it wasn't. The footage was steady. Complete. Every angle clear. Every voice audible. Anna's commands rang through the room, not harsh, not emotional, but precise and urgent. Then, Eric appeared in frame. Hesitating. Delaying. The room grew quiet. Uncomfortably quiet. Pause it, someone said suddenly. Anna didn't move. Pause it, the voice repeated, sharper. She pressed pause. Silence followed. What is this? An administrator asked. The full recording, Anna replied. Where did you get it? I recorded it. A shift ran through the room. You had no authorization for that, the man snapped. Anna met his gaze without hesitation. I had responsibility. No one spoke for a moment. She picked up the phone again. There's more. She played another segment. This time focused directly on Eric. His hand hovering. His hesitation. The delay that changed everything. It was undeniable. When the video ended, the silence was heavier than before. This cannot be released, one administrator said firmly. It will cause more damage. Anna's voice remained steady. It will show the truth. That's not your decision. For the first time, she said quietly, it is. The words settled over the room like a final statement. At home, the tension was even sharper. Grace paced back and forth, her phone clutched tightly in her hand. Anna, you need to delete it, she said urgently. Do you understand what this will do to us? Anna stood still. I'm not deleting it. Grace turned to her, eyes wide. Are you trying to ruin this family? Anna's gaze didn't waver. No, she said. I'm trying to stop being ruined. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Unavoidable. Michael stood by the window, silent until now. You should have told us first, he said. Anna looked at him. Would it have changed anything? He didn't answer. Because it wouldn't have. Grace's voice trembled slightly. People will talk. Anna nodded. They already are. Silence filled the room again. Anna turned to leave. Anna, Grace called out. She stopped, but didn't turn back. I won't apologize, Anna said quietly, for something I didn't do. Then she walked away. In his apartment, Eric stared at his phone. The screen refreshed again and again. The full video had been uploaded. At first, the comments were the same. Confused. Angry. Judging. But slowly. They began to change. Wait, this looks different. He hesitated. Why wasn't he acting? Was he recording before it happened? Eric's breathing grew uneven. No, this isn't right. He scrolled faster. More comments. More questions. The narrative was slipping. For the first time, he wasn't controlling what people saw. His hand tightened around the phone. This wasn't supposed to happen. Back in her room, Anna sat in the dark. The only light came from the screen in front of her. The video continued to spread. Views climbing. Comments multiplying. The truth moving slowly, but steadily. Anna watched in silence. Not smiling. Not relieved. Just certain. Now they'll see, she murmured. Outside, the city carried on, unaware of how quickly everything was shifting. But for Anna, this was only the beginning. And this time, she wasn't the one being judged. She was the one deciding what the world would see. The comments did not stop. They multiplied. At first, they questioned. Then they argued. And finally, they chose sides. Anna sat quietly in the hospital lounge, her phone placed face down on the table. She didn't need to look anymore. She already knew. The narrative had begun to shift. Footsteps approached. Michael stood in front of her. He didn't sit immediately. He just looked at her. Long. Carefully. You released it, he said. Anna nodded once. Yes. A pause. You didn't tell me, he added. Anna looked up at him. You would have stopped me. Michael didn't deny it. He pulled out a chair and sat across from her. The situation is bigger now, he said. It's no longer just about you. Anna's expression didn't change. It never was, she replied quietly. Michael frowned slightly. The hospital is under pressure. They're preparing a statement, he continued. They may still suspend you. Anna leaned back slightly. They can try. Her tone was calm. Too calm. Michael studied her. This version of his sister was unfamiliar. You've changed, he said. Anna held his gaze. I stopped trusting people who wanted silence instead of truth. The words landed sharply. Michael looked away briefly, then back. Do you already know something? He asked. Anna didn't answer immediately. Instead, she asked, if I prove it wasn't just a mistake, what will you do? Michael's expression hardened. If there's evidence, I'll handle it. Anna's lips curved faintly. Not quite a smile. I'll remember that. At home, the atmosphere was tense. Grace sat on the couch, staring at her phone. Her hands trembled slightly. Why are people saying these things? She muttered. The comments had turned. Look at the intern. He delayed. This wasn't just pressure. Something is wrong here. Grace shook her head. This is getting worse. Anna walked in quietly. Grace looked up immediately. Anna, what have you done? Anna stood still. I told the truth. Grace stood up. This is not how things are handled. You've made everything public. Anna's voice remained steady. It was already public. That's different. Grace snapped. You made it worse. Anna took a step forward. No, she said quietly. I stopped it from getting worse. Grace stared at her. Conflicted. Frustrated. You don't understand, she said. People are watching us. Judging us. Anna's eyes didn't soften. They were already judging me. Silence. Grace's voice lowered. You should have trusted your family. Anna held her gaze. I did. A pause. And it destroyed me. Grace froze. The words hit harder than anger. For a moment, she didn't know how to respond. Michael entered just then, breaking the tension. I need to check something, he said, already pulling out his phone. Anna glanced at him. She knew. He had started looking. Late that night, Michael sat alone in his office. The room was dim, lit only by the glow of his laptop. The video played again. Full footage. Unedited. He paused at a specific moment. Eric's hesitation. Michael leaned forward slightly, his expression sharpening. He replayed it. Again. And again. That's not normal, he murmured. He opened another file. Hospital logs. Staff assignments. Internal messages. Scrolling. Searching. Then. He found something. A message thread. Eric's name appeared. Michael's eyes narrowed. The messages were subtle. Careful. Questions about rare complications. Timing. Procedure steps. Too specific. Too deliberate. Michael leaned back slowly. What were you planning? He whispered. The next day, the hospital was no longer calm. Staff gathered in small groups, whispering. Phones were out. Everyone had seen it. Anna walked through the corridor. This time, people didn't avoid her. They looked. But differently. Some with doubt. Some with curiosity. Some with respect. At the far end, Eric stood alone. He looked worse than before. Tired. Uneasy. When he saw Anna, his posture stiffened. She walked toward him. Steady. Unhurried. He spoke first. You shouldn't have done that. Anna stopped in front of him. Done what? She asked. Released the video, he said. You've made everything worse. Anna tilted her head slightly. For who? Eric's jaw tightened. You don't understand how things work, he said. This will backfire. Anna's gaze remained steady. I understand perfectly. A pause. Then she added quietly. You made sure I would. Eric's breath caught. For a moment. He couldn't respond. Anna stepped closer. I saw everything, she said. His expression flickered. You hesitated. Silence. You delayed. His hands clenched slightly. And you were ready to record. The air between them felt heavier. Eric forced a small laugh. You're imagining things. Anna didn't react. She just looked at him. Long enough. Then she stepped back. Let's see how long you can say that, she said calmly. She turned and walked away. Eric stood frozen. This time. He didn't feel confident. He felt exposed. That night, Anna sat in her room again. The screen in front of her displayed multiple files. Videos. Messages. Timelines. Everything was aligning. Piece by piece. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then slowly, she began organizing it all. Not rushed. Not emotional. Precise. One step at a time, she whispered. Outside, the city lights flickered in the distance. Inside, the truth was taking shape. And soon, it wouldn't be something anyone could ignore. The shift was no longer subtle. It was visible everywhere. The same video that once condemned Anna was now being dissected frame by frame. People paused, zoomed in, replayed. Look at his hand. He hesitated again. This isn't normal. Why was he already recording? The questions were no longer about Anna. They were about Eric. Anna stood by the window in her office, watching the city below. Her phone lay on the desk behind her, screen constantly lighting up. But she didn't turn. She already knew what was happening. A knock came. Before she could respond, the door opened. Michael stepped in. This time, he didn't look controlled. He looked serious. I found something, he said. Anna turned slowly. He placed his phone on the table and played a file. A message thread appeared on the screen. Eric's name. Anna walked closer. Her expression remained calm. Michael spoke quietly. He asked about rare complications before the surgery. Very specific ones. The messages scrolled. What happens if the pressure drops suddenly? How long before intervention becomes irreversible? If the line fails, what's the exact response time? Anna's eyes didn't move. He also insisted on assisting that day, Michael continued. Multiple times. Silence settled between them. That's not curiosity, Michael said. That's preparation. Anna nodded slightly. I know. Michael looked at her sharply. You already knew? Anna met his gaze. Not everything. A pause. But enough. Michael exhaled slowly. For the first time. He wasn't ahead of her. He was catching up. What are you going to do? He asked. Anna turned back toward the window. Finish it. At the hospital, tension had reached its peak. Administrators moved quickly through the corridors. Phones rang constantly. Staff avoided discussions, but listened carefully. A meeting was called. Mandatory. Anna stood at the front of the room. This time, no one asked her to speak. They were waiting. She connected her laptop to the screen. No hesitation. The presentation began. A timeline. Clear. Structured. Undeniable. Day 1, Anna said calmly. Pre-surgery. Messages appeared on screen. Eric's questions. His requests. His insistence. Day 2, she continued. Surgery preparation. Footage showed him adjusting his position. Checking angles. Day 3, Anna said. The operation. The room grew silent. The video played. Not just one angle. Multiple. His hesitation. His delay. His hand hovering over the line. Every second stretched. This is the moment, Anna said quietly. The video paused. No one spoke. They didn't need to. The truth was already clear. One of the administrators shifted uncomfortably. This is serious, he said. Dr. Chen remained silent. Watching. Anna closed the laptop slowly. This will be released publicly, she said. A wave of tension filled the room. You can't just, someone began. I can, Anna interrupted. Her voice wasn't loud. But it stopped everything. This is no longer about the hospital, she said. It's about what actually happened. Silence. No one argued this time. Because they couldn't. Eric sat alone in an empty office. His phone lay in front of him. Screen filled with comments. They're investigating now. He's going to be exposed. This looks intentional. His breathing grew heavier. He stood up suddenly. Started pacing. This wasn't supposed to happen. His voice cracked slightly. They were supposed to believe it. He stopped. Because he knew. It had gone too far. Anna stood in the hallway. Waiting. Eric walked toward her. He had no choice. When he reached her, he stopped. Neither of them spoke at first. Then, "You planned this," Anna said. No accusation in her voice. Just certainty. Eric let out a short, bitter laugh. "You think I planned everything," he said. "You think it's that simple?" Anna didn't respond. His expression tightened. "You were always perfect," he continued. "Always in control. Always respected." His voice grew sharper. "Do you know what it's like to stand next to that every day?" Anna watched him. Calm. "I worked just as hard," he said. "But no one saw me." A pause. "So I made them see," he finished. Silence. Anna's eyes didn't soften. "You let a child die," she said. The words cut through everything. Eric flinched. "I didn't mean for that to happen," he said quickly. "But you let it happen." He had no answer. The truth hung between them. Heavy. "I only needed you to fail," he said quietly. Anna stepped closer. "And now?" His breath hitched. "They're looking at you." For the first time. Fear appeared clearly on his face. Anna stepped back. "This is what truth looks like," she said. Then she turned and walked away. Eric stood there. Alone. This time. There was no control left. That night, the final files were uploaded. The timeline. The messages. The footage. Everything. The truth. Complete. Anna sat in front of the screen, watching it spread. Slowly. Then faster. Unstoppable. Her reflection stared back at her. Not broken. Not uncertain. Steady. "It's done," she said softly. But deep down, she knew. This wasn't the end. It was the moment everything finally became undeniable. And for the first time, she wasn't fighting to be heard. She was being listened to. The noise didn't disappear. It changed. Where there had once been accusations, now there was analysis. Debate. Outrage. But not toward Anna. Headlines shifted. New evidence raises questions about intern. Full surgery footage changes narrative. Was it negligence, or intent? The same voices that had once judged her now spoke carefully. Cautiously. As if afraid of being wrong again. Anna walked into the hospital that morning without stopping. Without lowering her gaze. People still looked. But differently. Some nodded. Some stepped aside. Some avoided her not out of judgment, but discomfort. Truth had weight. And not everyone knew how to carry it. In a quiet office, Michael sat across from Anna. A file lay open on the desk. "They've started a formal investigation," he said. "Not just him. The hospital too." Anna nodded slightly. "They should." Michael studied her. "You're not going to push this further?" Anna looked at him. "For what?" "For compensation. Reputation damage." "You could." "I already got what I needed," she said. Michael paused. "The truth?" he asked. Anna shook her head slightly. "Myself." The answer caught him off guard. For a moment, he didn't speak. Then quietly, "I was wrong." Anna looked at him. Michael exhaled slowly. "I should have listened to you. I should have stood by you." The words were difficult for him. Clear. Honest. Anna didn't respond immediately. "I know," she said finally. No anger. No comfort. Just acceptance. It wasn't forgiveness. But it wasn't rejection either. At home, the atmosphere was different. Quieter. Heavier. Grace sat at the table, her phone in front of her. But she wasn't looking at it. When Anna walked in, she stood up slowly. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then, "I saw everything," Grace said. Anna waited. "The full video," she added. "The messages." Her voice trembled slightly. "I didn't understand before." Anna didn't move. "I thought, if you stayed quiet, it would pass," Grace continued. "I thought protecting the family meant keeping things hidden." Her hands tightened slightly. "I didn't see that I was hurting you." Silence filled the space between them. Anna looked at her mother. Really looked. This wasn't the same tone. Not fear of gossip. Not concern for image. Regret. You didn't want to see, Anna said quietly. Grace's eyes lowered. Yes. The admission was soft. But real. Another silence. I'm sorry, Grace said. The words hung in the air. Anna didn't respond right away. Then she spoke. I can't go back to how things were. Grace nodded slowly. I know. There were no tears. No dramatic reconciliation. Just understanding. And distance. At the hospital, Eric's name had disappeared from the schedule. His office was empty. His locker cleared. No one spoke about him directly. But everyone knew. The investigation continued. Quiet. Thorough. Anna stood outside an operating room. A different one. A different case. The nurse approached her. Dr. Lin, we're ready. Anna looked through the glass. The patient lay inside. Breathing. Alive. For a brief moment. The past flickered. The monitor. The flat line. The noise. Then. It faded. Anna stepped forward. I'm coming. Inside, the room felt familiar. But not the same. She washed her hands slowly. Steady. Scalpel, she said. The surgery began. This time. There was no hesitation. No doubt. No fear of judgment. Only focus. Only purpose. Outside, the world continued to talk. To argue. To judge. But inside. None of it mattered. Anna's hands moved with precision. Her voice calm. Her presence unwavering. Because this time. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She was simply being who she was. After the surgery, she stepped out into the quiet hallway. No cameras. No whispers. Just silence. The kind that didn't suffocate. The kind that gave space. Michael stood at the end of the corridor. Watching. He gave a small nod. Anna returned it. Not as someone seeking approval. But as someone acknowledging it. Without needing it. She walked past him. Forward. Not looking back. And this time. There was nothing behind her that could pull her down again. Only the path ahead. Steady. Clear. Her own.